Most people spend their entire lives chasing a secret. They read the books, follow the routines, copy the habits of the most successful people on Earth. And yet, they still feel stuck, still feel like they are missing something. What if the secret was never hidden? What if it was the one thing you have been told your whole life, but never fully believed?
There's a study that researchers conducted over several decades following gifted children into adulthood. Kids with high IQs, natural talent, the ones teachers always talked about. But when researchers checked back years later, most of them had been outpaced by people who showed no early signs of genius at all. The variable that separated them was not intelligence, it was effort. Sustained, relentless, unglamorous effort. Think about the greatest performers in any field. Before the championship, before the record, before the standing ovation, there were years, sometimes decades of work that nobody watched. The highlight reel is real, but it is the last 5 seconds of a very long film.
Anthropologists who study human evolution point to something remarkable. Humans are not the fastest animals, not the strongest. What made early humans dominant was persistence. Our ancestors would chase prey across vast distances, not by outrunning it, but by outlasting it. Hour after hour, mile after mile, until the animal collapsed. Endurance is not just a skill, it is encoded into what we are. But here is where most people go wrong. They confuse hard work with busy work. Mindless repetition produces very little growth. It is focused, intentional engagement with difficulty that produces real transformation. The people who rise are not just the ones who work the longest hours. They are the ones who deliberately push into uncomfortable territory over and over again.
Science also shows that people who tie effort to their identity sustain it far longer than people who treat it as a strategy. When the work becomes part of who you are, it becomes harder to abandon. The most consistent high performers were not motivated every single day. They showed up anyway because quitting was simply not part of how they saw themselves.
Every story that looks like overnight success is hiding a long, invisible timeline. The best-selling author, the record-breaking athlete, the founder who built something from nothing. What looks like a sudden arrival almost always has years of quiet, unseen work underneath it. The breakthrough was earned, not received.
The culture we live in now is obsessed with shortcuts. Every headline promises a faster path, and some efficiencies are real, but there is no shortcut past the requirement of doing hard things repeatedly over time. The people selling shortcuts rarely show you what they did before they found one.
The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not a talent gap. It is not a luck gap. It is almost always a work gap. And unlike talent, unlike luck, unlike the circumstances you were born into, work is the one variable fully inside your control.
You carry within you an ancient architecture built for endurance, built to keep moving when everything says stop. The secret was never hidden. It was just harder than most people wanted to hear. And somewhere deep down, you have always known it.